Hello, everyone. Apologies, we are still having technical difficulties. We're going to give this one more try to see if the live will work. Just waiting for Chantel to join. So what we're going to be talking about today is moving from rushing to reverence as a couple. And specifically, what we're going to be exploring is the feminine's urge to communicate before she's truly felt into what she really wants to say and she's clear on what she wants to say, and the masculine's urge to rush into intimacy before he's really attuned to her body and opened her body fully and opened her heart. So let's see. Just give me one moment to try and get Chantel on here. If we all just close down the eyes for a minute, letting out a sigh. Just dropping into this moment. Okay, is she here?
Oh my God, what a rigmarole getting on this live.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yay!
We did it.
Okay, so I've done a little introduction of what we're going to be talking about. If you want to maybe start by speaking into why the feminine rushes into communication and that can lead to a disconnect instead of more of a connection, and the masculine's urge to rush into intimacy, which can also lead to more of a disconnect.
Yeah, so really both of these topics are more to do with codependency than anything else. And often a woman doesn't know how to be fully present and in the moment when there's a lot of emotional charge, and attuned to herself and attuned to her environment and what's happening, just kind of either losing ourselves in a strong stress response that's either anxiously grasping for resolution or anxiously running away, or sometimes a combination of both. And for men, not being able to be fully present in their body without rushing to the goal of ejaculation. And really, what both are looking for is a release from each other. I need a release of my emotional burden through you, and I need to communicate to you in order to create repair. So I'm depending on your masculine to create safety for me, is basically the energy. And it can be the feminine in men as well, but typically speaking, it's more the woman who's really needing that repair to come from the relationship and from the other, not just within. And for a man, outsourcing his pleasure, outsourcing release, rather than really having his own feminine feeling into his own being and body, and able to stay connected to that again without rushing to the goal for a release that he's depending on sex for and on the outer feminine for. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah. So maybe we'll start by speaking about the feminine and communication piece. So in those instances where we feel like we just need to talk about it and we have this frantic energy of needing to fix it and right now and we can't wait, what can help us to just pause and communicate from a place of more clarity instead of from a place of trigger that's really not doing anything productive?
Well, first of all, it's hang on, sorry. Teeth, can you not please, love? Sorry, there was just some noise that I could hear. So, first of all, it's to just bring awareness to the pattern, right? To the pattern of becoming hyper vigilant and focused on the other in situations like that, what that person's doing, what they're not doing, how they're wrong and we're right, and all of the mentalization that's basically saying, please become my enemy because I can't handle what's happening in me and I need someone else to be the blame for that. Or please rescue me and you create the repair. So it's noticing that we're wanting someone else to be the solution.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the first step is to go, I can create repair here. I can actually have the power to self-regulate in those difficult moments. So before you even get to that moment, it's really understanding this, that you can return to a regulated state. You can feel loved, you can feel validated in your experience and acknowledged and held without them.
Mm-hmm.
Which is really difficult for the feminine, that often when that anxiety is arising feels very abandoned, feels unacknowledged, feels responsible to fix the issue, and yeah, one wants to create that repair to feel okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what you really want to do is be able to, yeah, recognize when that's happening, pause, and create some safety. It's safe to just take the focus off him, off the relationship, and be here now with my experience, with what I'm feeling, right? And just notice and stay. Because we're so focused on the abandonment of the man when he doesn't want to talk, when he walks away. Basically, what's happening for him is he's getting very overwhelmed and doesn't know how to stay with himself and stay in connection. It's like it's very easy for the masculine to lose themselves and get overwhelmed by a woman's emotionality. And then they've got their part to play of self regulation. But right now we're talking about that rushing to communicate.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, can we create space? Can we take space without freaking out? Can we come home to our own bodies? Can we just track sensation, track emotion, let go of all of the he said this, she said this, he needs to do this, he needs to do that. Who gives a fuck about what the other person needs to do? It really doesn't matter. What's so difficult and what creates the rupture, even though we're thinking what's creating the rupture is their inability to do whatever they're meant to be doing, what creates the rupture and the conflict is the inner conflict with what we're experiencing. So you need to come to peace with what you're experiencing. This is not easy. So
Mm.
that's where daily practice comes in. There's an entrainment where we're training our muscles to be with what's arising in us, to feel what's arising in us, and to just listen to it. Because actually, when you can't do that, if a relationship is really shitty and you need to leave, or incompatible, or that person's not meeting you, you're not going to be able to leave. You're not going to be able to get out of the trauma loop that is basically creating this anxious attachment, avoidant attachment dynamic, where the avoidant is dependent upon the person with anxious attachment being okay for them to feel okay, so that they're not overwhelmed, and where the
Mm-hmm.
person with anxious attachment needs closeness and connection in order to feel okay, and for the other person to create the repair. Now, it's natural to want that, and it's natural to want for the feminine to want to stay connected, right? But it's also natural for the masculine to not always want that. So the only way that you're ever going to have power in a relationship is to be able to have space, create space, pause, and feel what there is to feel, see what there is to see, and then whatever boundary or need or request has to be communicated after that in order to feel met in the relationship. You do that, but it's not in the like desperation of this must happen. It's like, we're okay, we're good in here, we know how to self-regulate. And a good first step is to just breathe for 90 seconds if you can, or get something cold and put it in the back of your neck, because The cold, this is why people get so addicted to cold plunging. The cold actually really calms the amygdala down and it tones the parasympathetic nervous system. So it creates regulation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're really escalating into fight or flight or fawn or tendon befriend, like breathe for 90 seconds, nice deep breathing. And if you're really hypervigilantly focused on them and in like a bit of a craze, get the ice pack behind your neck and breathe with the ice pack. So there's nothing wrong with fucking this up, right? I still fuck it up. But what you want to do is be aware when you can feel that you're needing the other to be or show up a certain way or communicate a certain way or whatever in order to feel okay. Take that power back. Yeah, you want to be in a position in your life where you can always create safety to be with what's inside and to really listen to what's inside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, beautiful. And so, do you think that it's better to walk away and actually have physical space in those moments, or just you can stay with your partner, or it just depends?
It just depends. Like sometimes staying, there's this feeling if you don't say something, you're going to fucking explode. And if you do say something, you're going to fuck it up. So you can't win in their presence. If you don't speak and you really want to, you're just going to, and just end up exploding at them often.
Mm-hmm.
But then if you do speak, like, how is that just going to be too much and you know that? Or have you already spoken and you already know you're just in this circle of blaming, being a nasty bitch, or like not being able to speak, or, whatever is coming up? Is it too overwhelming? And you need to just take some space. And often in the pause and not rushing into communication, when you know that things are escalated and it's not going to serve anyone or anything, in that pause time, you're just connecting with the earth again, breathing down to your feet. Deep inhalations, bringing some warm touch to your body, some soothing touch to your body. Basically, allowing your masculine to give you everything you're wanting from the outer masculine. Something I really need when I'm extremely upset is just an acknowledgement of, like, you know what? I can see why you're feeling so frustrated about this. And, if I'm searching for that from my partner, I may or may not receive what I need. You want to be able to receive what you need no matter what. You don't want to depend on your partner for what you need.
Mm-hmm.
So perhaps you make a request for that. Can you please just acknowledge something, or can you please give me some reassurance? And they can't. They, for whatever reason. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't have to be the be all and end all. It can be frustrating, right? When you're needing something and your partner's not giving it to you. But if you can sit with that frustration, if you can take the focus off him and go, okay, if my own masculine was here right now, I'm feeling abandoned by the outer masculine, I'm feeling unseen, I'm feeling invalidated. What's going on inside me? Is my own masculine awareness actually with me? So, what I like to do is just close my eyes and feel my internal masculine, which is my awareness, meeting my breath, meeting what's alive, and just reassuring me and saying, this is okay. This is fair enough. It's okay to feel what you're feeling and
Mm-hmm.
express what you're feeling. And then I just let it move through me and discharge in my body and recreate that safety through my own inner union. And then by the time I see my partner again, I'm not in trauma looping or attachment wounding. I'm just here with what's here now. And part of this is letting go of the past, not mentalizing back into the past, telling stories to yourself about what he did wrong, how he was love bombing you, or how he was being narcissistic or weaponizing you, or all of the freaking things that we come up with, and all of these psychological concepts. Was he gaslighting you? Maybe. Was he weaponizing you? Maybe. Was he shaming you? Maybe. Was he defending himself? At the end of the day, the deeper part of you is not going to return to wholeness by focusing on all those things. So it doesn't matter. Okay, he's done what he's done. And if I'm just present with myself here now, what am I actually needing? Reassurance,
Mm-hmm.
acknowledgement, holding, breathing. It's okay. And until you can create that safety within yourself to be with discomfort, you're not actually going to be able to receive his love and soften and communicate from that place of love. Because at the end of the day, all the stories are stories. And you'll know if a man loves you or not and is there for the big journey with you or not. Your body will know. So go into your body, be in a state where you're empowered to leave a relationship if it's creating a lot of suffering and not meeting your needs, or stay if it is. Because when you're in anxious attachment, you can't fucking leave because you're not being there for yourself. So just anyone being there for you to regulate with you is better than nothing. But that's, I know 100% that if Matisse and I break up, even though I love him to bits and, I would never, right now, I would never want to do life without Matisse. But I also know that I could do life without Matisse and feel just as safe and happy within myself. So it's not like he doesn't bring extra safety, extra peace, extra love, of course. But like when you're relying on someone and their energy and whether they're happy or sad or what they're saying or not doing is the main thing that is determining your level of peace and safety inside. You may as well grab your partner right now and say, I give you all my power. Here you go. Take my power. I am now dependent on you for my emotional safety and regulation. And then you have no power to leave. You have no power to stay. You have no fucking power because you're always in this space of needing your partner to regulate. Now, if you try to do what I'm saying to do just when you're triggered, good luck. You need to practice this regularly. You need to entrain your awareness to come back to self and away from other. Yeah. The feelings you're experiencing are inside of you, despite whatever's happening externally. And everything that you need, you've known yourself for your whole life. You're going to know yourself for the rest of your life. So who could be there better for you than you?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I remember when I was going through this period of every time Rem and I would have a disagreement, I would just absolutely spiral and make it so much worse and abandon myself, and it was going really badly. And you said to me to work on bringing in my own masculine and to meditate on non-attachment, and that really made the biggest difference. Like when I started doing that for, I don't know, a couple weeks, uh, arguments, had been that something would happen and we'd disagree, and then I would freak out so much at not having his love there and also not having my own love there that it would just spiral, and then he would need to walk away, and then the abandon wound comes up, and then I abandon myself and I make it worse and I'm just completely losing it. Whereas after that, if we had a disagreement and he needed to get some space, I could be there for myself and he could have what he needs and I could have what I need, which is safety and love, and give that to myself. And yeah, it absolutely made such a huge difference. And just in my daily practice, sitting for 5-10 minutes even, and just meditating, bringing in that masculine stillness instead of just processing, which I was just doing for a little bit, just having that emotional release and the feminine side, and making sure to bring in that masculine afterwards is, yeah, it made such a difference.
Yeah, and I would even take the practice deeper for you, Sadell, but for the listeners, that actually the key to the pause, the key to self-regulation, the key to your capacity to self-soothe and be in your center. It's not about feeling good. It's not about fixing anything. It's not about the masculine coming in at a certain point. It's about they need to be there together and bring that inner union in as soon as you possibly can, which begins with the pause and the decision to bring masculine awareness into relationship with sensation, into relationship with the breath. Like sometimes you may need to look around the room, you know, like you're learning in the practitioner training, and just ground and be like, I'm okay. Breathe into the body. Feel your feet returning to the earth. Do that breath for 90 seconds. Then your masculine's in, right? Your masculine's already there the minute you choose to do that. And then he stays by not abandoning you, right? The masculine is present, holds space, witnesses without judgment, and creates safety for the feminine to feel everything, which is really what we're wanting from our partners when we're upset. It's like, can you love me in my mess? Can you love me when I'm not just happy and calm? Can you love me when maybe what I'm communicating to you is creating a sense of failure in you or fear of intimacy, right? Can you love me even then? And yeah, that's great when a man can. And it's really difficult because a lot of the times when we're sharing with a man, his failure wound is coming up, and then our abandonment wound gets even worse, and they go into this loop. So in that space of wanting something from the external man and not getting it, herein lies an opportunity to really get curious and ask yourself, can I give myself what I'm wanting from him? And you can literally replace it. Whatever you're thinking about him, check it out. He's abandoning me. I choose to be here fully with me. He's not listening. I'm going to listen. He's defending himself. I'm going to stop defending myself. He's in his mind. I'm going to return to my body. It's like often the person who's anxious just needs to return to their body, and the person who's avoidant needs to return to their hearts. And what both are doing is finding safety and closeness. Now, the more that we can return to ourselves, the safer the masculine, especially an avoidant masculine, is going to feel to return to closeness, because he's not feeling that desperation and that clinginess and that grasping of like, I need you to do something right now in order for me to feel okay, or I'm going to fucking die. You know, that's what it can feel like. And it's very disempowering. Now, sometimes, you know, like by the time you get to the place where you need to pause, you're probably feeling overwhelmed by emotion. And so is your partner. Now, you need to check out like what you're capable of in that moment. Sometimes you need to really swing the pendulum between sympathetic and parasympathetic in order to be able to stay with yourself. And what I mean by that is, you know, you breathe for 90 seconds, you come into grounding, and then you're willing to not abandon yourself. Feel what's there, which could be a part of you that is wanting to cling, a part of you that's feeling unmet, unseen, a part of you that's really sad, really frustrated, really angry. And so, you know, you're feeling that, you're moving with that, you're crying. And it might feel like too much to feel, because it's also reminding you of when your father abandoned you. If they've got aggressive with you, it might remind you of abuse. If they're withdrawing completely, whatever it is, sometimes it can be reconnecting you to moments in your life that have felt incredibly unsafe. So then, you know, bring some safety in, bring some expansion in. What I like to do if I'm feeling really just incapable of, you know, like calming down enough or feeling grounded enough to feel everything, is I'll think of you actually. And Jayla, I think of something happy and I just see your little face and I see Jayla and I'm like, oh, feel the joy that I receive as soon as I just bring you into my awareness. And the love that I feel, I love to imagine like the forest or the ocean, or like sometimes little lily, like if you've got a pet, you know, just things that support you to feel the good feelings. It's not like not abandoning yourself means just being with your pain. It's actually opening to receiving the love that's there. And then maybe I feel into a memory with Matisse, a moment where he was there for me, because what the mind wants to focus on when there's a rupture is all of the ways he's not showing up, all of the proof that you have that he doesn't love you, that he's not doing the inner work, that he's not showing up. And I'm just going to say it again. It doesn't fucking matter what he's doing, what he's not doing. You just need to show up for yourself. And when you do that, you will hear what it is that you need in the relationship or the boundary that needs to be set. And when you're calm and you let him feel you, then you can say what you need. And ideally, we wouldn't always need to be calm when we're communicating, right? But it is what it is. And if we're having strong feelings and our partners can't hear us, we need to respect that and not grasp for that as the only solution. You have your internal solution, which is in the self-regulation and self-soothing capacity of your own being.
Yeah.
And everyone listening, it's like take the responsibility off your partner to regulate your fucking nervous system, right? You'll have moments where you want them to. That's okay. That's human. There's a little child inside with unmet needs. Like my little child, her emotional needs were never attuned to, really, in certain aspects of my upbringing, and I was never seen in the pain of my abuse. So there's a part of me that needs to be seen in that, and there's a part of me that needs to be attuned to. Now, if I project that onto my partner, that's a lot. And ideally, yes, I would love to feel that. And I do feel that with Matisse. But at the end of the day, unless I can become the parents that I didn't have in certain ways, right, I'm not going to really become whole. We need to become our own parents. We need to take that job off our biological parents, off our partners, and be able to hold ourselves when we feel sad. Punch pillows like a child needs to when they're angry. Scream into a pillow, shake when we're afraid. Like just really allowing that and being the parents you perhaps never had, who could just witness without judgment and create safety for you to feel what you're feeling. And then being genuinely curious about what you need, because that's really what we're wanting from our partners. Can you just feel me? And can you feel me beyond the surface? And can you just tune into what I'm needing beyond this? And can you be the one who creates some repair here? Chances are that they're not going to be able to, right? If they're overwhelmed or in their failure mode. Like they're not going to have that capacity. And you can keep blaming them and shaming them, or just come back to your own capacity and what you're capable of, right? And this isn't about being hard on yourself. It's not about, I can only communicate when I'm calm. You can communicate when you're sad, when you're angry, when you're frustrated, and you need to be aware of, saying how you feel and what you need, and not just going into all the ways that they're bad, and try to say it in the right way. But there'll be times when you don't. And there'll be times when it's really powerful medicine when you can just be messy and someone's loving you and able to pierce through the surface and take you into a deeper vulnerability. Yes, that is beautiful, right? And if you can see that the person doesn't have capacity, stop, bring your own capacity in and give that to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. And I really love what you said about bringing in a positive memory. And I learnt about resourcing is what it's called. And I learnt recently about that in the practitioner training. And it's like you're regulating to pleasure. And it can be so easy, like you said, when you're in a bad moment, an argument, to just focus on everything bad and to just think about all the bad things that have happened. and to go back into a beautiful memory, like, you know, you can pick any memory that makes you feel really good, and for me it's a memory with Rem. And so to go into that memory and to really go into it fully, and to that place of being in so much love with him, I can't then communicate with him with so much, like, hate, not hatred, but, you know, so much intensity. I've just gone into this place of just pure love, and then I don't want to talk to him like that. You know, I remember the love that we have, and doing this when we've been having an argument and doing it together, I found has been so amazing.
Beautiful, sweetheart.
Mm.
And you know, with the pleasure, like actually intentionally bringing pleasure into your body, pleasure is the best nervous system regulator.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, like on Sunday, I was having a lot of feelings and like processed it. And then when I tuned into what I needed, which sometimes you can even ask yourself if you don't know what you need, like, what would I need or love from my partner right now?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I did that. And what I would have loved was for Matisse to grab me and say, let's go to the ocean. You know, we have our little morning ritual with coffee and chats. Let's go do that. And then what would you love to do today? And it was like, I'd love to go for a walk on the beach. I'd love to go shopping and buy some PJs for winter. So, you know, I did all of that, but my own masculine took me to the beach. My own masculine took me shopping. My own masculine took me out for lunch.
Mm.
And so this is the thing. Often our partner becomes the source of our pleasure, which is synonymous with the source of our regulation.
Mm-hmm.
So you need to be able to have a rich, full life with or without your partner. That means staying in touch with your friends, spending time with your friends, having
Mm.
a deep connection to what does bring you joy outside of your relationship.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, definitely. And
And sometimes, which is what we were talking about on the weekend, when you don't want space, it's still really good to take space. Sometimes something's happened in a relationship. If you're stuck and you've done your process and you're still just feeling so deflated, something happened that was really hurtful, go where the pleasure is, right? You're going
mm-hmm.
to be a lot better when you get back.
Mm-hmm.
Go into a high vibrational environment, feel the support of your friends, and intentionally take space as a way of creating deeper repair within yourself and with them. And
Mm.
space is actually really important in relationship to keep the chemistry alive and to allow that self-sourcing, the resourcing, the regulation, keeping that rich full life outside of them. And for someone who has anxious attachment, it's hard to feel love in distance, and it's hard to not be responsible for creating the repair in the relationship. And it's like, I don't feel safe if I leave. It's like, it's often unconscious, but like the love is going to be gone if I leave. I might lose him if I leave. So
Mm-hmm.
you notice that, you check it out. It's like, why is it hard for me to leave right now? I know this is not a good environment, actually. Like, you can be discerning about the circumstances around you to create the highest chance possible for pleasure and regulation.
Mm-hmm.
So like, I like to get to a park, by a tree, or to the ocean. Nature is always a good start. And yeah, I love having a good time with my friends. Sometimes you just need to remove yourself from the situation and stop being so dramatic.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yes, feel the pain, feel what's alive, feel the pleasure, and then just be like, you know what, I just need a break from all of this,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to just bring some good feelings in,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm really wiring my nervous system for the good times these days.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not about denying or detaching or bypassing. It's just about actually knowing that you can intentionally connect with your pleasure, connect with your joy to bring regulation and wholeness back into the system.
Yeah. Yeah. And it can be so hard when you're in that and you're close to your partner to leave, and it's like, I just want to fix this, I just want us to be okay. And then
Mm.
when you leave, it's like a breath of fresh air, and you actually realize this is exactly what I needed. And that's what I learned on the weekend, you know, like it was so hard to leave, and when I did leave, though, it was the best thing. And I just
Mm-hmm.
instantly felt like this was so needed. And then we had our space, we both had time to reflect. And what really helped me as well was I did a practice session with someone from the practitioner training, and I aspected with REM before
Mm-hmm.
going home.
Good.
And that, you know, just sitting, for anyone that doesn't know what aspecting is, you have two cushions, and you sit in one, and you have, you know, energy or person on the other cushion, and then you swap between the cushions. So I had myself and then Rem in front of me, and I just expressed everything. You know, you can be as mean as you want, you don't need to be spiritual, you can be like, you're a fucking cunt, I hate you, and
Mm-hmm.
just get it out. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so relieving to actually just get it all off your system, and then you get to the deeper needs beneath all of that, and you
Mm-hmm.
express those. And it really helped me to get clear on exactly what I needed to say before going home, beneath all like the noise and the triggers, and to just get to that, so that when I got home, we could go straight to the truth of what I actually wanted to express. And then sitting in Rem's cushion after I expressed this, and feeling him, and really just dropping into his body and feeling that, helped me to, again, bring in some compassion for him.
Mm-hmm.
And I had been just in a bit of a space of like, fuck you. And
Mm-hmm.
this practice was so helpful at just like opening my heart again, and
Mm-hmm.
recognize how he would feel as well in this situation, and not just going home in a place of like, oh, I'm angry, like I'm going to tell him how I feel and this is not okay.
Yeah, that's beautiful, sweetheart. And part of what Sadal's describing is you're actually swapping places between yourself and the other person, and experiencing both points of view and feelings in the body. And what I like to do as an extension of that is, yeah, imagine Matisse in front of me and say everything that I need to say. And sometimes I'll just, no, I won't do the cushion thing. I'll just focus on getting off my chest, and that part of me that wants to explode, just let it explode. But then what I do is I'm like, okay, now say that to your own masculine. So everything I've just said to him, like, you're abandoning me, you're not validating me, you're not acknowledging how I feel, you're not fucking, can't you just stay with me? Even when I'm not perfectly happy, and, you know, like whatever I'm experiencing. And then I see my own masculine in front of me, and see actually where that is being replicated. And then it's like,
Mm,
okay, interesting.
mm,
So, can you please stop abandoning me? To my own masculine, can you please just stay with me here right now?
mm,
And then he comes in and will say everything that I want Matisse to say. What do you need right now? Yeah. What's going on for you? That curiosity that I long for. So you can actually get it all off your chest, and then you can see, okay, if I was to communicate with my own masculine, what would that look like? Just as a more advanced practice, or if you want to advance it even further, say it all to your dad, because a lot of the times it's everything that we feel towards our dad, and we project that onto our partner, and it becomes more obvious when we really let that voice speak. So
yeah.
part of self-regulating, part of pausing, part of being with yourself is you're unearthing the shadows within. You're meeting the fears within, you're meeting the places within that are hard to meet. And when you take the focus off the external, bring all the focus internal, what actually happens is you face your demons, you face your fears, and you grow in your capacity to be with what's here, be more present, and grow and learn and evolve. Like, so
Mhm.
much evolution happens through that. You really get to know yourself. You get to know what you need. You get to know how to be there for you. But you need to do it not just when there's rupture. You need to
Mhm.
do this every single day.
Yeah.
And really, it's about presence. Just, can I be present with what is here right now? So when it comes to men rushing for intimacy, they're rushing for penetration often, or ejaculation, right? What happens if I'm totally present with the sensation and with the drive to go faster, with the drive to move into penetration? Can I just be here now and tune to her and feel what's here and connect with my heart? Yeah. So just if you can imagine, it's like when a woman is fanatical about wanting to create repair and communicate, the feminine in men and women, it's like a hose with running water through it, that if you don't know how to channel that energy into self-regulation, you're just holding the hose, you're stopping your expression because you're so afraid you're going to explode. And then self-fulfilling prophecy, as soon as you let go of that hose and the water runs, you're over explaining, over talking, oversharing, probably being nasty and being all over the place, right? And in between noticing I'm going to explode and exploding, there's an opportunity to catch it before it escalates. So for a woman, that's like, before I just like let it all, let me just come into presence, be here now, reconnect with my body. For a man, it's like, okay, before I rush into penetration, before I rush into thrusting, can I be present and be here now and just slow everything down and be with. So here's attuning to her sensitivity and tenderness and potential overwhelm of going too fast.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also attuning to what he needs to in order for that not to escalate into her just often going into freeze while he's just doing his thing,
Mm-hmm.
right? Which is to breathe, to feel his feminine. So for a man, the key to him not rushing and being more reverent and present is actually connecting to his feminine
Mm-hmm.
and his heart and his level of attunement and nourishment and care for her, right? Letting go of the agenda, letting go of the masculine goal, and coming into a deeper feminine space of softness, really, and connection. And for her, it's calling in her masculine awareness that's like, okay, bring it back to you. Let's create some safety here. So, you know, a man can depend on the woman to say slow down and to create the repair and say exactly what to do, but it's often emasculating. Or he can depend on himself and his connection to his own heart, his own feminine, to be able to be fully present with a woman without it escalating the intimacy too quickly into an outcome of penetration or coming.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Letting go of the goals. And I mean, as a woman, it is so much more beautiful to receive intimacy from a man that is, you feel that he's touching you just because he's present and loving that moment, not because he's trying to work you up to get you ready for penetration. And we can tell the
Exactly.
difference,
Mm-hmm.
especially when you're connected to your body and you're tuned in to what's going on and you're not numbing.
Mm-hmm.
It's very easy to tell when a man is touching you because he wants to and it's just a beautiful moment, or because he's trying to get you ready for penetration.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Exactly. And likewise, they can feel it when we're communicating to be right, to shame them, to get them to do something. There's a controlling element to it that they're
Mm-hmm.
sensitive to. But if we're really present and just feeling and sharing, not to get to a goal, not to fix things, not to get his love, not to get into what you need to do, but just to actually share what's on the heart and be with what's on the heart and actually want to create deeper love and connection, then he'll feel that. So both sexes are sensitive to agenda, and really we need to let go of control and say, be with what's here now, let go of trying to fix, let go of our agendas, and they need to let go of, yeah, wanting us to be somewhere we're not, trying to get us to be somewhere we're not. So men, the masculine needs more slowness in communication. We need more slowness in the bedroom. This, our heart is our positive pole, so it's easier for us to connect and communicate. Their cock is their positive pole, so it's easy for them to fuck, to connect and communicate. But we need to take both poles into consideration and be fully present with what is and honoring of each other and meeting each other.
Mm, yeah, yeah. And the thing is, when you slow down for a woman and you give her the time to open and to really feel safe with you and feel loved, then it gets wild.
Yeah.
Like the wildness that comes after that
Mm-hmm.
is amazing. And, you know, men can be like, oh, but I don't want to go slow all the time. I don't want to have to be all sensual all the time. If you do that and that's how you start and you give her the time she needs, it's not going to be slow the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's going to get wild, and she will be so open and safe and surrendered with you that she'll feel safe to go to those places of wildness.
Exactly. Like our heart needs to feel open and safe for our sexuality to be fully turned on. And then when it is, yeah, it's hot and sexy. We're not saying that it's not. It can be fast at times, but there is that presence, there's that depth of attunement. And, you know, likewise, when we take it slower and let a man feel us and just stay connected to ourselves, he's going to feel safer to stay in the connection and not run. And he's like, we get overwhelmed by them trying to get us turned on, and they get overwhelmed with us trying to fix what's happening and to get their love back again. So it's putting the brakes on, breathing. Let's be here in this present moment. And actually, likewise, when we're really attached to fixing it, we're trying to get them to do this or that, it often doesn't happen. But when we can slow down and feel and create that safety, we're actually getting our deeper need met. So women are actually going to be more open with slowness, and men are going to be more open. And then there's an opportunity for them to really feel our vulnerability instead of just all of the stuff. So yeah, we're taking agendas out of it, we're slowing everything down, and we're meeting each other in love. Love for ourselves, like first and foremost, connection here, feeling whole here, and then allowing wholeness to meet wholeness instead of please fix this and codependency. So I'm not suggesting we have to be completely independent. There's interdependency, and yeah, there's actually I've got a free meditation for anxious attachment and avoidant attachment. So if you can put that in the notes when we
Yeah, yeah,
finish
I'll
for
link
people.
that in the caption of the replay.
And then for the listeners, anyone who wants to get really serious about self-regulation, come to Living Tantra retreat or Fundamentals of Tantra if you live in Perth, because I can tell you all of this, but it's through the experience of like really being with your pleasure, being with your pain, being centered in here instead of like this, feather in the wind or leaves of a tree that's like the weather is just whatever's happening is moving you so much. It's like, can you to take the focus off the external and here and being with what is takes a lot of power, takes a lot of strength, takes a whole re-entrainment. Most people are stuck in codependency. So get support if you need it. And if you're wanting to support others in that with tantric tools, then check out the practitioner training. Yeah, there's lots of resources available. We have a free podcast where I speak into different aspects of this. And yeah, thank you for being with us. Please share this with anyone who you think needs it.
Yeah, great. And we do have a question
Mm-hmm.
from someone. So women need to feel safe, and men, do they need to feel safe too?
They need to feel free. They need to feel released from the burden of a woman's emotional body being their responsibility. Like so many men that I do sessions with and have done for the last decade. It's like they feel this constriction and responsibility for her, right? And he needs to feel free, free to take space when he needs it, free in the expression of who he is, and we need to feel safe. So we need connection and communication. Therein lies the fucking cosmic joke of masculine and feminine. So the deeper need is a man needs to connect with his own feminine so that he can understand that and create safety for his own feminine and be there for her in her mess so that he can keep love alive, right? The key for a man is, can I feel safe in staying connected in love, staying connected to my heart? Because then he's going to feel a lot more free, right? It's like the safety for him to stay connected is to not be in the right and wrong, not be in the I have to fix this, but just be in the presence of like, I don't have to fix anything. I just need to be here and fully present, and it's safe for me to stay connected without losing myself, without getting overwhelmed. It's safe to be here with what's arising in me without creating separation. But what the unhealthy masculine does is just needs to run and get away because of that overwhelm, right? Like straight away. So, and then it's hard. And then depending on how unhealthy the masculine is, sometimes never come back. So, to feel safe, the feminine always needs to eventually come back into connection. Yeah. And the man, before he can do that, sometimes needs space in order to be able to come back into connection. So while his mantra is, it's safe to be with what's arising in me and stay in connection. I can just be present, right? And then for a woman, it's like the opposite. It's safe for me to be to not be right with him, and it's okay. I'm safe. So he needs to find safety in connection. We need to find safety in aloneness, in the space.
Yeah, and I think they also go hand in hand. Like what I experienced was when I was okay within myself and creating safety for myself, then he would witness me embodying that and actually being there for myself, not abandoning myself. And then he would not abandon and stay because he could feel the safety. Yeah.
Because he feels free from the burden of having to create emotional safety for you. So he feels that freedom. And then ironically, once he feels that freedom, there's a much greater, more natural, genuine willingness to be there with you. Right? So when we're grasping for safety, we don't get it. When we give it to ourselves, we do get it. Yeah, and unless you with someone who isn't like that, and also this is a very revealing process. What might be revealed through this process is that you don't want to be with that person, that actually they have no capacity for regulation. And being with someone who doesn't know how to regulate when you know how to regulate is a friggin' nightmare. It is an absolute nightmare. It's always you that's needing to come back to yourself and do the right thing and bring your own masculine and feminine together and, do the processes. And you're growing and evolving through that, but they're not doing the same. So they're not growing and evolving and eventually becoming compatible or vice versa. So we want to grow together. Anytime there's a rupture, whoever's holding the masculine needs to feel that space of being willing to actually feel safe in connection and in communication. Right? And for the feminine to bring in her masculine and feel safe in the aloneness, in the space. So we're finding safety through different ways. And for a woman, it's like, now she can feel loved. For a man, it's like, now I can feel free. Both are found when the other person's doing or not doing is no longer the safety, the anchor point for safety and freedom. The anchor point is within you. You are loved, you are safe, you have everything within you that you need. Okay? And then for a man, you are free, you are safe. Yeah. No one can take that away from you. So claim that power back. Claim the power back to be responsible for your own love and your own freedom. And of course, we want interdependency, where also the medicine of their love and their capacity to give you freedom is adding to that. And you will get that reflection if it's happening inside of you. You know, the conflict that happens externally is a mirror of the conflict in here with your own soul and your own experience. You're not running away from her. You're running away from what you're feeling when you're with her. Can you be with that? You're not fighting him. You're fighting the part of yourself that's feeling abandoned and alone, and you don't want to feel that, you know, whatever it is. So, yeah, I could talk for another hour, but I have to go. And yeah, there's lots of resources. Dal and I will be jumping on more lives. Put in the comments if there's a topic that you want us to address. And always a pleasure to speak to you, darling. And thanks for
Thanks,
the wisdom you've added
Mum.
to it.
Thank you for all your wisdom. I'm glad we got here onto the
Yeah,
live in the end.
it was so quick and on this one.
Oh, it really was. All right. Thank you, everyone.
Love you, sweetheart.
You
Bye,
too.
everyone.
Bye.